Hello, Nathan.
What up?
Hey,
Not our
Hey,
ratings.
our ratings.
Yeah.
We still performing at 4 degenerate per episode. Is that
if that, yeah, I think. I didn't even finish watching the last one. So
no?
no, no.
wow.
See, I like to with the new way we watch television, the streaming, right? Is you wait till the end of the season and you watch all the episodes. So maybe some people are just kind of building them up. And they're gonna wait.
Oh,
Oh, I
And
hope not, dude.
binging.
18 straight 45-minute sessions of us? No, nobody can take that. No way.
Binging. Yeah, that's the way people do it these days.
Yeah,
My favorite way to watch things, by far.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too.
Yeah. Uh, bury the lead. I mean, no burying the lead. Guillotine just dropped. We all know who just got players.
yeah.
Look at me, 2 players, no money spent on that. Got me a
Is that
little.
right?
I think I spent $1.
Yep.
I think I spent $1.
Oh, did you? I thought you spent zero. I thought two
I
guys
think
for zero.
no, I think I spent $1 on
All right,
Devo.
my bad. My bad. Sorry, I put out bad information, guys. My bad. In the
You
thread.
did actually. Ben spent $2.
Did I spend 2?
What?
Yeah, he spent a dollar on Debo, which is great, good value. I hope you don't
Oh,
regret dropping Pacheco for that. And then a dollar on Tank. I mean, that's great. I mean,
and then two guys for zero at the end.
and then 2 guys for zero at the end.
Okay, I didn't see the other ones. My bad.
Yeah.
I thought you went 0-0 only.
No,
All right.
I spent a couple dollars, but still,
Nice.
you guys
Four
fucked up.
guys.
You let me stick around until I could get some players for cheap. Now it's
Well,
fucking on.
I mean, technically, you fucked up because you could have had all 4 of these players for zero. There was no second bid on Debo and Tank.
Well, how was I
yeah.
supposed to know that Debo and Tank would get 0 bids? I took a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair. I
but
think if I had, I don't know, I've never been, I guess, that low in Fab and Guillotine before. But if I had like $3-4 left, I think what my strategy would be is I would do nothing but $0 bids and hope that some guys sneak through. Right? You do $0 bids on Debo, and sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. But I would save my last $4 to bid all on one player. Right? So like, if a player I really wanted came through, Justin Jefferson, somebody like that. I put
yeah.
all 4 on him, and I hope I beat out the other guys that only have $1, $2, $3.
Well, that's one way to go. And then there's the
Go
way
do
I
the
went.
Foreman strategy. I like it.
But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I got some players. And all I need is my quarterback to perform like he should. Last week, Jaden underperformed 8
Yeah.
points or 9 points or whatever it was.
Oh,
But
man. Talking about underperforming quarterbacks, how about Caleb Williams, dude? That guy, I mean, I've heard some of the national pundit guys or whatever break it down, and they're putting pretty much every sack on him. Just he holds the ball too long. If you look at the line, it's playing good, and they're putting it all on him, which is the same complaint he had coming out of college. He's held the ball too long. Which does he process fast enough? I don't know. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
what the issue is, but
I actually thought about you, Matt, after that last game. Because I think last week might have been his worst game as a pro, right?
yeah,
He's
that
been
was
bad
bad.
for most of the season, but last week was probably his worst game. And I thought about you because in the early part of the season, I busted your balls about doing victory laps on Saquon. But I'm surprised you haven't done any victory laps on your Caleb call, because that's now about a year old now that you told us he was not going to be worth the hype.
I
Right?
was just regurgitating other people's stuff that I agreed with. I mean, yeah, I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. And he could get better, but
well, I mean
Well,
the talent, the ability, like he flashes, right? Like, and he flashed for a long time in college. Like he showed he was the best athlete on the field at that time, playing in those games. He could do whatever he wanted and score touchdowns, make those long passes, outrun guys. But I even said it way back in the day. He holds the ball. That was the one thing in college that he took so many sacks. Or not a ton of sacks, but he did not do well in that category, right? And now it's totally showing up again in the pros. You know what I mean?
There's
you can
plenty
get away
of-
with that more. You can get away with that more in college, right?
way more in college. You can get away with it.
there's
But
plenty of great college players that never made it in the pros. I mean, Reggie Bush, college career, Nothing in the pros, dude. Not comparative to what he did in college.
Well, not nothing in the pros.
Dude, he never got a second contract with any team.
Well,
That's a
Yeah,
big
but
telling thing.
he
But
still played for a long time in the NFL.
dude, okay, the quality of his college career was never matched his NFL career by
that
any
would be
stretch.
that would be impossible.
for
Yeah.
for him
Okay,
to-
but okay, there's basketball players, same thing. It's a true thing.
Yeah.
There are guys who are great in college. They're great up to that level of competition. They're not good at the next.
What did I call him, dude? What did I call him at the beginning of the season? I forget what I called the guys who didn't make the teams. Garbage, not garbage man. I called him something. I forget what I said. He was playing against. God
Yeah, we
damn
get
it.
it. Plumbers and
Electricians, I think.
carpenters.
Plumbers,
I don't know what you said,
yeah. It's like electrician's assistants, whatever it was.
but- Yeah.
That's what most of these guys do, when they don't make the league. I'm just joking, but you know what I'm saying. Like they're not.
I think,
A lot of these guys aren't making the league, and they're doing other things, and that's who he was playing against in college.
Well, his ass is getting kicked by Bo Nix and Drake May. But in stats wise, I mean,
Why-
they're not Jane Daniels, but
Do you
I mean,
think
he's like fourth down. out of
is
rookies.
he the reason the OC got fired?
probably. Well, I mean, the team sucks, and the scheme sucks, and they're not moving the ball. I don't know if Caleb's the
Yeah.
reason. Who's the chicken? Who's the egg here? Right?
Mm.
Is the reason that Caleb sucks because the OC sucked? My favorite video that came out this week was, and it didn't come out this week. I saw it months ago, but they rehashed it this week. Was everything you need to know about whatever this OC's name is. You can pick up from this clip, and they show this clip of JSN. Did you guys see that one?
Mm.
So JSN played the OC for the Bears. I don't know his name. He was the offensive coordinator in Seattle last year. And they asked JSN, and he was like on a live broadcast, hey, they got this guy down there in Chicago now. And it looks like they got all these great receivers. What can you tell Bears fans about what they can come to expect?
Yeah.
And JSN, his first thing he said was, are we live right now? He's like, good luck, guys.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. Well, dude, the thing is, it's not going to get any better in Chicago because the guy who replaced him was the play caller last year in Carolina at the end of the year for like the last 6 games. Carolina failed to score over 9 points in 4 of those 6 games.
Shane Waldron is the guy's name who got fired, and Thomas Brown is the one who was
Yeah,
promoted.
so it's not going to get any better, dude. It's not coming up. So this could be a real brutal finish for the fucking Bears this year.
Which
Yeah.
how are the
kind of go back to
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to say something earlier, but I didn't want to cut off Ben about Reggie Bush real quick. I think it's important. We sort of traffic on this podcast in hyperbole. Either a guy is great or he's trash, right? There's never any in between. For Reggie Bush to have been as good as what he was expected to be, he would have had to be LaDainian Tomlinson, right?
Sure.
There's no way that he was ever going to live up to the hype of what he did in college because he was the best college running back of his generation. So he would have to be LT.
Averaged 10 yards a touch in college. That's amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
But by all measure, you have to judge his career. Most running backs would take his career, right? There's very few running backs that have success in this league for long stretches. And Reggie Bush was in the league for 6 to 8 years, something like that.
Mhm.
And every time he left a team, another team wanted him to be their running back. So I think it's unfair to say he didn't have a successful career. Of course, he was never going to live up.
He
to
didn't
that
have a
hype.
star. He wasn't a star. He
Never,
wasn't a
no.
number 1 running back in any year.
No, but a very successful.
I get
career.
what you're saying, dude. Those are fair points, but
Yeah.
I mean, USC, dude, I love that team. Not as much as Ben, I know, but I love that team.
Mm.
They have a huge long list of guys being great in college and sucking in the NFL. It's
Mhm.
just, it's that team, dude. It's brutal.
A lot of the
Brutal.
big programs had that, though. I mean, Alabama, you could say the same thing about, right? Other than
Except their
receiver.
linemen.
Yeah, they're in their linemen, right? But their
Their linemen and
quarterbacks.
their defenders are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've only had Carson Palmer. We went through this. I mean, they've had
We don't
some
need to rehash
success,
it.
but not much in those areas.
Yeah.
What would we say? There was something else we were talking about. I was going to ask you guys about Nick Bosa. Nick
Yeah.
Bosa. What
His
do you guys
little
think?
Trump dance?
Yeah, and you saw he got fined $11,000 for wearing his hat.
Well, that was the first time. Did he get fined for the dance? I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, that was the first time. Oh, I'm sorry.
So
No,
2
there's no-
weeks ago, he put the hat on and ran out. After
Yeah,
the
but
game.
they didn't announce that fine until after the election, and they did it on purpose. They
Okay.
actually said, or people guessed that the reason they hadn't announced the fine yet is they didn't want to sway the election one way or another because people would
Yeah.
get pissed off. Oh,
Yeah.
how dare you? And then we're going to go whatever. But yeah, they announced the fine. It was for the hat, and it's not for wearing a Trump hat. It's for wearing, in general, the policy says you can't wear anything that's not pre-approved by the NFL. You can only
Yeah,
wear
But it's
officially
also
team
anything
licensed
political.
gear.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Political or not, you can't wear. He couldn't go out there and wear a no effects hat. You can't wear anything,
Okay.
right?
So-
That's not
right, okay.
licensed by the NFL.
yeah. It was a violation of dress code or something
Yeah.
that he got fined for.
So he's not going to get fined for the dance this week, the Trump dance.
No,
What is the Trump
I
dance?
saw
Is
that.
the
The
flipping
little
off
like
the two
hands at the
donkeys?
hips kind of,
Oh yeah,
he did
yeah,
it after a sack in the middle of the game.
No,
I didn't see that.
I don't think you get
Yeah.
fined for that type of stuff. Did you see? Speaking of dances and celebrations, did you see the one with the guy who did the break dancing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
sent
ray
that to
gun.
the thread.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
The
sent that.
Australian breakdancing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. I don't remember where I saw it. I just saw
She
it.
actually retired from breakdancing professionally this week because of all the blowback after the Olympics. How bad it was. She professionally retired.
Is that
Well,
something you do? Is that something you have
She
to?
did. I mean, you
Hey, guys,
saw it. And it was
Don't you just
terrible.
stop dancing?
They've made movies about this. I know.
her retiring from breakdancing is like us retiring from podcasting. Like,
Sure. I just thought it was funny. I don't know if that's why the celebration was there, like an honor. But
Oh,
Yeah.
he was up on the news. You think?
yeah, I don't know.
I just thought that was hilarious.
No.
It's pretty funny.
some great
Um,
celebrations this year. The did you guys see the history of the Amon-Ra St. Brown? He did the one where he stands on his head. Did you guys saw that one?
No, I
Stands on
missed
his
that
head,
one.
and it's like a straight up and down plank. So he's on his head and his feet are straight up, and then he just tips over.
Okay.
But on the same Sunday, there's another player that did the exact same celebration. So they dug into it. Why are these two players from two different teams? I think the other guy was a former USC player too. Why are two guys from two different teams doing the exact same celebration? And they found out that it actually originated by some college player. And I guess they're just, they both saw him on Saturday and they both said, let's try that on Sunday.
Mm,
And it's an awesome celebration, though. It's fun. A lot of
like-
really good ones this year.
planking or something, or
Head
really?
planking or something.
Head
else.
planking?
Headstand to a fall over. There's
Yeah.
probably a better name than that, but
There's got to be a
yeah.
better name than that.
The head fall. Yeah.
One of the best things the NFL did a few years ago was allowing the group celebrations again. Because you remember they used to
yeah.
not allow that.
Yeah.
And it all started with if I'm not wrong, it was the Rams in 1999 used to do group celebrations. And they had a lot of fun with it that year. They won the Super Bowl. And the next year, the NFL came out and said, we're now banning that. For what? Who does that hurt to let them do group celebrations? And it was outlawed for like 18, 19, almost 20 years, I think. Because it was only a few years ago that they started allowing it again. And then we started getting all the fun stuff, all the, the team in the rowboat and the, I can't think.
I'd be interested to know why that happened. My first thought was it was probably the old grumpy owners not liking showboating or something like that.
Mhm.
And maybe it was why it got canceled.
Well,
but-
and time. It takes time. You
Not
got
that
keep
much
game.
time.
What are you talking about? It takes time. Every time they go out and they celebrate, it takes time. They have to, so
Well, the
speed
clock
up.
Okay, I got a
doesn't stop
question
for
this.
that.
This weekend, I saw
Sure.
a guy, a receiver, and I wish I could remember who it was. One of the stars. He missed a catch. It bounced back into his hand, and then he immediately spiked the ball. You used to get a delay a game for that. No call was made. Did you guys see that play?
Uh-uh.
I think you only get a delay of game if the ball goes into the crowd. And
Well, he spiked it like it was gone in, at least into the bench area. It just
Okay.
surprised me. I was like, oh, that used to be a fine, I thought, or a penalty. But
yeah, ever
I
since
see.
they started doing those group celebrations, they're a lot of fun. But we were actually talking about it. Justin and I, they were here watching football on Sunday. Some of the funnest group celebrations are the defenses, and they'll celebrate any kind of turnover more than offensive celebrate a touchdown, right? A turnover, an interception, a fumble recovery, any type of good defensive play gets celebrated like they just scored a touchdown. It's funny. Even when it's overturned, they do their celebration first.
that's what I was
then
going to
they
say.
review it.
Dude, that should be like a 15-yard penalty. If you celebrate and it wasn't really a touchdown or a takeaway,
That's
penalty
yeah.
the other way, fuckers.
that is pretty funny. Should we actually take a look at this fantasy line?
There's only one thing to talk about. This week, brother.
standings or
One thing.
What's the one thing?
Conroy on Conroy this weekend.
Yeah, we
Big
we
game.
We are
Somebody's gonna get their 4th win or their 5th win.
Woohoo!
Wow, look at you guys.
Yeah, that is
Another
The
way to
one
say
great
it.
thing about this weekend, Ben, is one of us will win. It's been a while. One
Yeah.
of us will get a win.
One of us will get a win. It'll be nice to. I'd like to go to 4-7, or you know what I mean. That would be
Well,
nice.
you
considering
guys are-
I still have a chance to make the playoffs, you maybe want to, dumb down your lineup a little bit.
Oh,
Help one of us get there.
I thought I was trying to stay out of the dress. Are we
Well, you
conspiring now? Is that what we're doing?
no. I mean, you're
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
losable
collusion is what it's called.
anyways.
Collusion.
Oh, is that collusion?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't just talk. Just
Families
me and
call
Ben.
families can't get busted for
Yeah,
collusion.
fuck no. Hell
What did
no,
you call
dog.
it earlier this season? You said it about the Ribbles. It was the brotherly, not the brotherly shove, but there was something
Brotherly
else. you called it.
love.
The brotherly shove.
Yeah,
Well, there was
no.
another one that we talked about. We said Alex was going to trade a running back to Joe when he needed
Yeah.
one. It was going to be the brotherly bailout. That's what
The
it was.
brotherly
There you go.
bailout. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't really mean it, brother. Game on, dude. Game on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
You
like.
guys are
I'd
both
like to,
on 2-game losing streaks.
Yeah.
And we talked about last week that if you lose 7 games, you're pretty much eliminated. 8 games definitely eliminated. So Matt, you have a chance to actually eliminate Ben from playoff contention this week.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to make the playoffs if he loses to you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
I agree.
I think I have a shot this week.
Our projections are only like 2 points apart. I mean, it's basically 50-50. It's
You got a
tough.
4-point projection lead on me right now.
4 points. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's 139 to 135.
All right.
Series history goes to me though. 19 to 16. So if I'm leaning on that, I'm leaning on, what?
Well, it was your 1 or 2. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I mean, unless
Nathan's
you get all
shaking
of
his.
your old teams. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's there's something about history adds to the you know that. Like if you're dominant over somebody, that adds to your chances to win.
I don't
That
consider
week.
19 and 16 dominant though. I think
And
19
who's
and
won the
16,
last
you guys
2?
are
This
relatively
guy.
even.
Has it? I haven't even
Yep,
looked at that.
Yep.
Last 2.
Oh, that means at one point he was 19 and 14 against you, which is a little bit
Yeah,
more
so
dominant.
Closing
but
the gap.
that's-
Closing the
yeah.
gap.
Oh
Yep,
man.
yep. I guess there's one other thing to talk about. Nate, you had a pretty good win last week. I give you some props on that one. The one guy you said you didn't care if he won or not, you go ahead and beat him.
Well, Jeff had his worst week,
Yeah, he
so
did.
I can't take all the
Yes.
credit. But my
Yeah.
team stepped up. I mean, I scored 166, something like that. So I mean, it was a decent week and never really felt too much of a sweat. I had a comfortable
Yeah.
lead the entire time. So it was nice. And I appreciated everybody for picking against me and giving me that kiss of death curse. It was the first time all season I picked against myself,
Oh,
only because I saw that his projections on me were like 30 points. And I thought everybody's going to pick Jeff. Why don't I just put the cherry on top, pick against myself? Let's see if we can get that kiss of death going. I don't know if I needed it, but it definitely helped. So
Yep, that's fun. It's fun to beat the big dog.
any other relevant things in the main league we should talk about? Or do we think
yeah,
we
I think
should?
there's a couple other things. I was actually looking at the playoff race as I do every week.
Yeah.
And it stood out to me that obviously we talk about this all the time that, everybody's still alive except for maybe Ben. Sorry, Ben. But what stood out to me is that 5-5 right now is a playoff team. Ryan's a playoff team, 5-5. Joe's a playoff team, 5-5. Both of these teams, if I'm picking right now, and I don't mean to jinx anybody, but I'm probably picking both of these guys to lose this week. Ryan and Joe, I think, have tough matchups. They're both playing against good teams. So Ryan and Joe, if they both lose and go to 5-6, that opens up 2 playoff spots. So this is a big week. If you want to get up into playoff contention and leapfrog yourself into that 5-6 seed, this is the week to do it. And then you just got to hold for 3 weeks during division games. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all shakes out. And then, of course, we get into division weeks. Then we start battling for division, who can win that division. But right now I'm looking at wild card. How do I get into that 5 seed? How do I get into that 6 seed? Ryan and Joe going down.
Well, dude, I'm looking at like points for, and you look at like Josh and Bobby. I mean, they're up there in records, but they have way less points than some of us. I mean,
Well,
they've scored.
Look, I mean, oh wait, I'm looking in the wrong. Sorry, I was about
Which league you in, brother?
I was
No,
looking.
Ben, you have more.
I was
Ben,
looking
you
at
have more
Ben's in
Dynasty for a
He's like,
second.
I'm doing so good.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, how come my score?
But no, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
by
do.
points, Nate, you and I are right there. We could easily jump these guys this week. I mean, no doubt about it. And Josh and Bobby, like I said, they're 2 and 3, and they both scored under 1,400 points. I mean, I'm over that. You're close. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
Bobby's
volatility
at
coming up. A lot of good times.
13-17, right?
Yep.
1,300 points, and there's a bunch of guys in the 14s that are not in playoffs right now. So
Right.
yeah, let's.
Well, Ben is over 14 in last place.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck? I'm getting bad luck this year. I'm getting that playing guys having their best games against me kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, we can look at that. Ben, you have the second most points scored against you in the entire league. So you're right. And Bobby has actually the first most points scored against him. So it's crazy. His winning weeks must have been huge scores, and his losses must have been terrible low scores. That's pretty wild, actually.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The teams that are in the playoffs right now, I have a feeling we're going to see some major shakeup over the next 4 weeks.
Yep.
I wouldn't feel comfortable if I was anybody except for Jeff. That's the only person that I would feel comfortable right now.
I'm fucking winning
Wait,
out, dude.
Jeff's
I'm gonna
already
win
locked in,
out,
right?
and I'm gonna make the playoffs. Is it
Jeff
possible?
secured his spot, right?
It doesn't say that.
I haven't
no.
done the math, but because
No,
he plays.
If he clinched the playoff berth, there would be an X next to his team name.
Yeah.
There's no X. So
Right now he has a
hasn't
bye.
Okay.
Right now he's got
All
a
right.
bye. Josh.
He's close. Then I guess this week would probably do it if he wins here.
Yeah, if you think after this week there's going to be 3 games left, and he's probably going to have a 4-game lead on the 7th seed if he wins this week. So if he wins this week, then he probably clinches the playoff spot.
Right. I agree.
So good luck, Jeff. I hope you don't blow it.
Hey, let's jump over to Dynasty for a minute. I'm playing Dre. I don't know if he's going to set his lineup or not. I don't know if he's tanking. Because it looks like he's tanking, have reset my lineup to super tank, if that's a thing.
What? Are you still? You're
tanking
still
is what
going for? You're still going for that first round pick, huh?
it's my only play right now. I sold everything up. That's my play.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I wasn't going to leave this lineup in. I just put it in so we could talk. But I think next year we do have to figure out a way to do something about the super tanking. Because we're doing power rankings, but you can just sit all your best guys, and it doesn't take into account the bench.
He's got rankings. Cousins, Walker, Hunt. Those are all
right, but he's sitting
starters.
Wilson and Pickens.
Those are guys that were on a bye last week, right? Or
yeah.
As far as I can tell, Dre's been setting his lineup and doing what he's supposed to be doing. I mean,
we'll see.
I mean,
I'm just saying it doesn't look good right now. It doesn't.
Some guys don't set their lineup until Sunday morning.
I mean, he's got
if
Bryce.
You don't set it first thing Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. out west. You guys are doing it wrong.
He does have Bryce Young on his team right now, like active. So I mean,
right, and Russell Wilson on the bench, who was not on a bye last week. Pickens, who was not on a bye last week. There's no reason unless he moved them down this week, which there's no reason he would have done that.
We'll see. Let's
look at his score last week. Let's look at his
I just don't think he set his lineup yet. That's all.
Well, let's go back to week 10. Let's see who he.
Well, you can look and see when he sets his lineup. I mean, the transactions page will tell you that. Not that it matters. I mean, what is it, Wednesday?
Okay, so last week he did put Wilson and Pickens on his bench. So he is intentionally super tanking.
What?
Leaving Bryce Young in. Why would he's not playing his best players?
No, first of all, that's easy to say in retrospect because Wilson had such a great game. But starting Bryce Young is defensible. A week ago this time you could defend.
He started Amari Cooper, who wasn't playing in the game. I think you're defending somebody who you don't need to defend, man. It's not a fight. He is tanking. He's not playing his best guys.
He scored.
So I'm now
points.
doing the same thing. So I'm saying it's a problem that we need to think to fix next year somehow.
Well, it's only a problem for losers. Us winners don't think about you losers.
Okay. I thought rebuilding was a good strategy. It didn't make me a loser, but sorry, dude. Sorry. So we are allowed to super tank is all I'm saying. So that is what's happening.
No, if there's evidence that somebody's super tanking, then I think we should address it. I don't. You didn't
That's
ask me.
evidence.
I haven't seen any evidence. I'll look at it. I'm relying upon what you're saying on a
Yeah,
podcast, and I
okay.
haven't had a chance to
I
look
just
at
went
it.
to his score from last week to see who he's playing. Yeah.
So I mean, if you really want to look at what's his team name?
Who's
Kenny
High
G.
Plains Drifters?
That's
I mean, he scored 56 points last week. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So if you look at
He
if you
started
look at
Kenneth
his
Walker on a
team,
bye. He started Bowers on a bye. It gets better and better.
last time
Wait,
that
let me
Dre
still
said his
convince
lineup,
Nate, though. I know it's not what you're saying. I'm just teasing.
I'm trying to look it up, but you won't even let me
I'm
talk.
just
All you want to do is
teasing.
the last time he said his lineup was on November 2nd. So
Okay.
what that tells me is he didn't set a lineup last week. So it's not that he started these guys on a bye. It looks like he just didn't set his lineup last week. Now, whether
Okay.
he did that intentional or not, you can choose to believe that he did that intentionally to super tank, but he hasn't made any lineup changes since November 2nd, which is 2 weeks ago.
So
Okay.
he could have given up. He could just be
Could have
out.
given up.
He could have just said, "I'm out," or he
He
Checking
could have been a
out.
tornado. Is he
Could
okay?
Could he be busy?
could have
He
been
could be
busy.
He has a life. I don't know.
Oh, that's not acceptable. Not to set lineups because you're busy. That's not acceptable.
Mm.
An
Yeah,
honest
I mean,
forget. That really never happens in this league. We've been playing too long.
up until last week, the pattern is if you look at his, he's not a Matt, he's not a me. He doesn't set his lineup regularly throughout the week. Like I set my lineup, I tinker Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you look at his pattern in most weeks, and week 9, he set his lineup once. Week 8, twice. Week 7, twice. Week 6, once. Week 5, once. So most weeks he's only making lineup changes one time during the week. It seems to me like maybe he just forgot to do it or got busy, checked out. I don't see any evidence of super tanking. That's my opinion.
Okay. But still an issue we need to look at for next year. Because
Especially
now I'm
since-
doing it intentionally to try and
I was
get
going to
the
say,
first pick.
especially since somebody's telling us right here he's intentionally doing it.
Dude, if you're going for the first pick, you're going for the first pick. It's not like you're doing anything nefarious. I mean, your goal is to get the first pick.
Yeah, I would say the only downside to that is if there's other teams that are in a playoff race and they're playing against you, they get the advantage now over another guy that doesn't get the
100%.
advantage, right?
Well, I mean, everybody
right on that.
everybody who gets to play him gets the advantage. You just might not luck out and have him on your schedule. So then,
Right. During the last 3 weeks when he super tanks, I don't get to play him, but you do, and then you win 3
It moves
games.
you into a
pass
playoff
me.
spot.
Yeah.
No, it's a problem. That's why I brought it up. I'm throwing myself out there saying, let's figure
how many
this shit out at some
how many
point.
times do I get to play him before the
Yeah.
season's over?
Are you
My
in a
division
division?
guys love me. I actually do. Like when I play you guys or Bobby, like guys who have great teams, I'm like, oh, cool. I can see what my team can really do. And I put all the good guys back in,
Hey, Ben, he's in our division, baby. He's in
Oh
our division.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, Dre was in the championship game last year, so it's hard to say that he's checked out or he doesn't care. I think from time to time, I don't know that anybody other than maybe a few people can say that they've never forgot to set their lineup. Right? It happens from time to time. So I hope everything's okay. In fact, I'm going to do a wellness check right now,
please.
checking on him, see how he's doing. But yeah.
Man,
We can come up with
Okay,
some rules.
let's
What would
talk
you
it out.
suggest?
Are there any ways to actually fix this going forward? I don't know what there really are.
I mean, you could have
There's
like,
honor system.
well, I mean, you could have oversight committee. You know what I mean? You could have some sort of,
Like people who come and make my lineup correct. Like they come in and put their hands in my team and put people in the right places.
or like Nathan could like you can't start people on a bye. Like that would be like an easy one, right? Like make it
So
so
you'd force a trade if you didn't have a person on your bench to play.
you
It's
not
I
like-
just took it a step further.
it's not often, and especially in a dynasty league, that you don't have somebody you can play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's usually
Yeah.
somebody you can play. They may not be very good, but
I don't know that there's a airtight way that you can do this with the CBS settings. I don't think there is with CBS, but one thing we could do is you could do something for example, who did Dre play last week? I don't know.
He played Adam.
Okay. So let's say Adam isn't
cuz
right. So obviously Adam didn't care much because Adam's not in the playoff race, but let's say the person that needed Adam to lose is taking a look at rosters. They need Adam to lose. They notice that Dre didn't set his lineup. Just send an email out or send a text out and say, hey, is Dre going to set his lineup this week? Right? Do it in advance. Remind him. And if he doesn't do it, then text the commish. And if by Sunday morning, if he's got a bunch of empty spots, I'll just set the best lineup I can set for him. Right? If that's a rule,
Ben's out on that. Get your hands off my team.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about big government.
He said that a couple weeks
in.
ago. Like, you're messing with his team. He doesn't like that shit. You know what I mean?
Big government.
Okay, what
I'm
about
talking about cases like this where you have multiple players on a bye, multiple players that are injured? Like you said, there's 3 players that didn't play last week that were in a starting lineup. And if you already text the group and he doesn't reply, or you text him directly and he doesn't reply, I have no problem with having a rule that says, hey, commish, I've texted Dre, he hasn't replied. Can you at least put some starting players in a starting lineup? And then I just do it based on projections. Okay, George Pickens is on his bench. Russell Wilson's on his bench. Let me put those.
So now we're
in.
tattling on.
We do that. We do that. Yes.
Oh yeah, we totally tattle.
Yeah, we tattle, dude. Fuck yeah, we tattle in this league.
We tattle about shit that's not even real. Like we tattle about all kinds of shit.
Yeah, we do. We're some petty motherfuckers sometimes, dude. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'd be like, if I'm fucking playing Dre next week or the week after, I'm doing whatever I can to like sweet talk the other guys in my, like, hey, trying to distract them with other things. I might come up with some fake stories just to try and distract the league, from looking at Dre's lineup.
Nate, what about like last 6 weeks for the bottom 6 teams? We could do total points, bench and starters and bench to determine.
Where do you get that data?
I figure your commission tools should have something to look at, like point totals for the week or something. I've never seen the commission side of this, so I don't know.
No, there's the data is not available unless you go through and manually tabulate it. That's
quick spreadsheet though. That wouldn't be that hard for you or Sean. You guys are whizzes with spreadsheets, right? I mean, I'm not saying we have to do this. I'm not saying it's a way to fix it. I'm just saying, would that be a fair way? Maybe. Do you guys think?
Well, I'll tell you what we did do. So when we first did this dynasty league, the first year, the way the rule was written is it was power rankings at the end of the year. And because somebody had threatened to tank in the playoffs, we said, let's change that. I think Sean had missed the playoffs and he was joking through the thread. I'm just going to tank these last 3 weeks so I can get a good draft pick. And we said, okay, well, then let's change it to power rankings at the end of the regular season. I guess you could change that up. You could say power rankings at the end of week 9. We have that data available to us. Power rankings as of the trade deadline date, right? We have that available.
The only thing that doesn't come into account then is injuries that pop up. So
yeah,
could get caught up in something.
If the idea is you want to give the best teams
the top
draft position,
6 teams with power rankings would make the playoffs. Is that what you're saying?
No, playoffs aren't affected. Playoffs are off schedule. We're talking like the bottom 6 team for number 1 pick.
Yeah, the 6 teams that make the playoffs, bottom. You could automatically take the 6 teams that make the playoffs. And by the way, we don't do this right now, but I think we should, because this is how a lot of my dynasties are. The 6 teams that make the playoffs, you don't even factor their power rankings in. If you made the playoffs, you have a bottom 6 pick, and it goes in order of how you got knocked out of the playoffs. So the champion gets the last pick, the runner-up gets the second pick, second to last. Right?
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be, but it's not. Right now, we're just doing a full power ranking. So, for example, last year I won.
I should
Dynasty,
read the rules more.
But Bobby had the Bobby had the last pick because he had a higher power ranking than me. So that's how we currently do it.
Let's switch that up.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take the 6 teams that make the playoffs in the order that they finish in the playoffs. That's your draft slot. The other 6 teams, you could say, don't wait until the end of the year. A lot of these teams sucked all year. Let's just take their power rankings as of mid-season, right? When they maybe were still hopeful, when they were still paying attention to their teams. And that's your draft slot instead of factoring in those final 8 weeks.
Well, but I'm 5-5 in Dynasty right now, right? And I'm 4th in power rankings, but I'm last in my division. So how would that factor in?
Okay, so right now in power rankings, Matt obviously is at the bottom, right? But if Matt, let's say hypothetically, Matt super tanks and Kenny GG super tanks, which by the way, he's 7th in power rankings even after last week. But if you then change it and say, okay, we're not going to use the end of season power rankings, we're going to use mid-season, which is week 8. Well, Matt's still at the bottom. And Dre's
consistency. Yeah. I've been doing it all season, gentlemen.
Yeah, it doesn't change it much, to be honest with you. All it's going to do by changing that rule is it's going to tell people there's no point in tanking in the last half of the season to get a better draft slot, because everything that happens after week 8 isn't going to impact you. Everything that happens after you can technically get eliminated won't impact you, right? Your draft slot's going to stay the same from that point forward. Unless you make the playoffs, then it gets worse.
I think I like combined points for the season, or combined points the last 6 weeks, like bench and starters. I like that better than power rankings, I think. If we were going to vote on something, I think that's how I'm thinking now. That's because it doesn't matter who you hide on your bench or anything. And like power rankings don't take into account who you put on your bench. You put all your best players on your bench, they're not included in the power rankings. So power rankings don't matter at that point. So it's got to be points, because then the guys that are hidden on your bench count.
But that's the choice you're making by not playing your guys, right? You're making that choice to put them on your bench, so you shouldn't get rewarded for making that choice to hide them on your bench. You should be trying to
reverse order of points.
Yeah, but you're
so
making
those
the
who
assumption
score
that
least gets a first pick. So
you're making
that way you're punished for hiding people, right?
Yeah, but that's assuming that people are tanking from the beginning of the year, which I don't know that anybody would tank before they're eliminated, right? You tank after you get eliminated, or
maybe the last 6 weeks points or something. I don't know.
So how many hours left on the trade deadline?
I don't know. It's actually I know exactly when the trade deadline is.
It's like 10 days from now, right? Or 9 days from now or something?
You know when it happens? It happens at 9 p.m. Pacific during Friendsgiving party.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can get some stuff going. The Friendsgiving starts at 5. So I mean, by the time we're all boozed up and belly's full, we should be able to negotiate some 11th hour deals right then.
So that's next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend.
Next weekend, okay.
Still one more week.
Yeah, it's always the Saturday before the what do you call it? Before the division games start. We used to do it actually on Thursday before the first game, which would always land on like Thanksgiving. We would do the trade deadline was Thanksgiving, and then people complain, give us 3 extra days. So we moved it.
You never got any takers on your trade, huh? Your trade offer you asked for this weekend or this week, Nate? I saw you.
I got a couple of offers, but they're all just absolute garbage. I mean, just the worst. And that's the risk you take when you go out there and you say, "Hey, I'm looking to make these trades." Is people make assumptions. Oh, Nathan wants to get rid of Chuba, so he'll take anything I give for Chuba, right?
Well, you laid it out. You laid it out pretty. It was pretty obvious. I mean, you asked exactly what you wanted. Somebody that averages 16 points. I mean, if you got that, throw them my way. If not, what are you gonna do?
I didn't get anything like that. And by the way, I got a text from Joe last night, and he says, "Hey, I went to go look at the trade you sent me, and poof, it's gone." And I replied back, and I said, "Yeah, because in the thread you told me that we're not a match, so I took that as a rejection. I canceled it." I said, "Go ahead and send it back," and he says, "No, too annoying." What does that mean?
Well, I have 3 receivers average about 16 points a game. You haven't reached out and said anything. So
what would it take right now for this to happen?
Probably not going to, but
I
don't want to help him. I don't need to help him.
You're a goddamn liar because you rejected my trade this morning.
Well, that's only because you tried to drunk trade me last night when I was drunk.
Receipts.
Yeah, he's a goddamn liar. I sent him a trade.
I did forget about that. I totally did. I totally forgot about that. You're right. I take it back, guys. PSA, I fucked up. He said something.